So they want me to find the missing measures, and I know I always have to show any work. So they tell me that the measure of angle, and this is Learning Target 6.1, the measure of angle MNP, this is 83 degrees. Now, I know that this is an isosceles triangle, and I know that because there's a conjecture that says that if I have two tangents that intersect outside of a circle, that from that point of intersection to those points of tangency, these segments are congruent to each other. So I know this is congruent to this, which means it's an isosceles triangle, so it means this is also 83 degrees. So if they want me to find the distance from P to M, or they tell me this is 12, then the distance from N to M is also 12. And there were no units on this, so I don't need to worry about this. To find x, though, and work that I would need to show, this stuff on the picture I don't necessarily need to show, it's just to show you kind of how I got there. To find x, I'm going to label that I'm finding x, and I'm taking 360 and subtracting out two 83-degree angles, not just one of them, but two of them. So x ends up equaling 14 degrees. So I labeled what I'm finding, how I'm calculating it to get this answer. Here, it says that these are tangents. So again, I know that these are congruent to each other. These are radii, so these are congruent to each other, which means I have a kite. Now, that in itself doesn't help me, but it wants me to find the measure of angle R. What I do know is that if this is 190 degrees, then this has to be 360 minus that, and that this angle, and I'm just going to label this with a lowercase n, this angle measure has to be equal to this arc measure because it's a central angle. So to find n first, I'm going to take 360 and subtract out 190. So n is 170 degrees. Now, once I know that, I can start working on how I'm going to find the measure of angle R. Because these are tangents, I know that these are 90-degree angles. And I just showed the work for, first of all, I labeled this so I knew what I was finding. Said, I'm going to find the measure of n here, so lowercase n, and here's how I'm going to find it, and here's what I got. Now, to find the measure of angle R, the work I would show is, this is a quadrilateral, so the sum of those angle measures has to be 360. So 360 minus the 170 I just found, minus the two 90-degree angles. And when I calculate this, I end up with the measure of angle R is 10 degrees. Notice the way I labeled my work and the way I showed my work to communicate what the heck's going on here.